This is a good question. Sam, I'm sitting here with some Canes fans. He's saying Mike Norvell never had a chance in Florida recruiting. Do you think that's true? I do. I think once he put his staff together, I felt like he was never going to recruit to the level that he needed to recruit to be honest with you. And the main reason I believe that because I think recruiting in the South, you got to have a lot of experience doing it. And you get that experience over time, right? Like, Jimbo recruited in the South before. Dabo was used to recruiting in the South. Now, Urban Meyer wasn't used to recruiting in the South, but he was from Ohio State, so he understood recruiting. He coached at Ohio State and he coached at Notre Dame, so he was used to recruiting. So he surrounded himself with guys that could recruit the South. You got to remember that. He's like Charlie Strong was on his staff. That was a big deal. Charlie Strong was like a big deal recruiting back in those days. So a lot of times it's about if you feel like you're going to be great at recruiting in certain areas, you got to kind of fill your staff up with guys that kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? I think that was his biggest mistake, was not hiring the recruiting guys that he needed around him that could at least teach them this is what it takes to recruit down here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was
I think he has a couple on staff. Like I said, I think
Surtain gets it.
Yeah, Surtain gets it. He's going to schools and all that stuff, and I think Gus and Herb Hand get it, but I need these other guys to get a bit more on board. But yeah, man, it's hard when you don't have the experience, like you said, and then on top of that, you don't have a staff fully, at least not in every spot that it has a pedigree to recruit. So it's going to take some time. I know people are impatient because they want us to get back so fast, but it's going to take a little bit to establish that recruiting juggernaut again. But
the thing about it is it goes so fast. That's why you got to hire the experience, because it goes so fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like Mike Norvell was hired just hired like 2 years ago, and it's like
it's year 6.
Yeah, and it takes nothing for it to slip away. Like, you can be on the top as a program, and that shit can slip away in a year, 2 years. It could just be gone if you're not recruiting, filling your program with the right type of people. You know what I'm saying? So, Dabo's somebody that, like, I look at the way Dabo do things, I'm like, damn, the way he do things, it just makes sense when you talk about building a program. You look at the way James Franklin program is kind of built. Like, it just makes sense. It makes sense why people can call them whatever they want to call these people, but their drop off don't really drop off that far. Like, they're gonna beat the teams that they're better than. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Exactly.
So they don't really have these ebb and flows of performance. Like, they don't really do this. They do this. They do this. They go up. And they you know what I'm saying? But they don't up and then crash down to the. They don't do that. They programs don't do that. So and that's because they recruit the right type of people. They change coaches. I mean, they don't have coaching changes. It ain't like they kept the same coaches. They had different coaches come in and out of their programs, but they understand the type of coaches they need, the type of players they need, and they keep it competitive out there in certain spots, man. I think it's tough, man. Because I was telling somebody about this. I never felt like Mike Norvell was a good fit. I felt like if you throw him in like Arkansas, he might be everything Arkansas ever needed. He'll kind of go to Arkansas, win 9. He'll probably give you a 10-win season every 2 or 3 years, and Arkansas will probably be fine with that.
Yeah.
But at FSU is different because you're in a meat grinder of Miami, Florida. Then you got Clemson, Bama, Auburn, LSU, and everybody's
all in the Southeast.
They're all attacking in the same areas over and over again. And what you get left with is players that none of them really want, because they don't got all the players they wanted out of your state.
Exactly.
So, and they got deep relationships than you do. Like, Dabo got deep relationships from Tampa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he'll go in there and beat Florida out for players in Tampa. Dabo will.
Exactly.
And it's hard to beat Florida out for talent in Tampa
Tampa, yeah.
It's tough, but Dabo can go down there and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
man.
when Bama clicking right, or matter of fact, not Bama, but LSU, they can go down to Miami and get.
Because they are killing it right now.
Yeah,
It seems like every other day they getting a
yeah.
new commitment.
So, you know,
Yeah, man.
it's tough, man, because it don't get easier as the years go on. It gets harder and harder and harder. You know, that's why it's only one Nick Saban. You know, that's why everybody can't do what Nick Saban did. I don't even put people in that type of air no more. I'm like, maybe it's time to back off the idea that you can get a guy and hope that he gonna compete for it. Like his worst seasons is losing a national championship.
Yeah.
That was Nick Saban's worst year. Sometimes was like losing in the first round of the Final Four or losing in that championship.
Or losing that championship. Yeah.
And people would be like, "Oh, I think he's falling off."
And
okay,
then next year, Bama went
right back to that championship.
right back again.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's what I will say.